Hello, and welcome to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to guide you through some truly fascinating material today. If you ask most people how to get healthier, they'll instantly tell you to walk a bit more, cut out the sugar, or hit the gym. But ask a sleep researcher, they will tell you to fix your sleep first, or absolutely nothing else is going to work. Today we are looking at the invisible foundation of your health, sleep, the one habit doing all the heavy lifting behind the scenes.
3 to 4 hours. Just let that staggering number sink in for a moment. That is the exact amount of sleep we have lost, not over a lifetime, mind you, but every single day compared to our grandparents' era. It's a massive, chronic deficit, and honestly, it perfectly explains the sheer exhaustion of the modern world.
Okay, let's dive into Section 1, the grandparent sleep gap. Where exactly did our rest go? To really understand this gap, we just have to look at our grandparents. They effortlessly slept from sunset to sunrise. We're talking roughly 8 p.m. to 5 a.m., nearly 9 hours of sleep. So how did we lose this? Well, we were robbed by our own technology in 3 distinct phases. First, in the 1880s, electric lights severed our natural biological tie to the sunset. Then, in the 1950s, the television pushed our bedtimes even later into the night. And finally, the 2000s brought the smartphone. That endless scroll and the relentless blue light blasting right into our faces has entirely decimated our rest, dragging us down to barely 6 hours a night.
And this brilliantly illustrates that stark reality. When you compare the 9 natural hours of our grandparents to the tech-fueled 6 hours of today, it's just mind-blowing. We are running a chronic daily sleep deficit. This lost time isn't just making us tired, it is the direct culprit behind the exploding rates of metabolic disease, hypertension, and mood disorders that we are now seeing in younger and younger people.
Moving right along to Section 2, the Invisible Health Foundation, Sleep as Active Repair.
We really need to reframe how we think about sleep. It is not passive downtime. It is an intensely active repair phase. Just look at a sleep-deprived body compared to a rested one. Cut your sleep short and your body instantly spikes ghrelin, the hunger hormone, and crashes leptin, the hormone that tells you you're full. This is exactly why tired people crave sugary donuts and completely undo their diets. A well-rested body, on the other hand, naturally regulates blood sugar and recovers muscle effortlessly.
And what happens in the brain is even more fascinating. During deep sleep, your brain activates something called the glymphatic system. Think of it as a nightly power wash for your mind. It actively clears out metabolic debris, including amyloid proteins, which, by the way, are the very same proteins implicated in Alzheimer's disease. Missing out on this crucial deep clean over decades is now considered a major modifiable risk factor for dementia.
So what does this mean for our lifespan? The overall impact is undeniable. Large studies consistently show a U-shaped curve for mortality risk. If you consistently sleep under 6 hours, you fall into a high-risk category. Interestingly, if you sleep over 9 to 10 hours, you're also at high risk, though researchers note this is often a marker of underlying illness rather than the cause. The biological sweet spot for the vast majority of us sits perfectly right in the middle, 7 to 8 hours.
Let's look at Section 3, the compound damage, when we sacrifice sleep for health. This brings us to the ultimate paradox of the modern health enthusiast. We see well-intentioned people waking up at 4 a.m. to do a grueling boot camp or a 10-mile run, actively cutting into their crucial sleep just to make room for health. It's incredibly disciplined, but we really have to ask, are those 4 a.m. workouts actually making you healthier? The honest truth is, sacrificing sleep to make room for exercise often entirely defeats the purpose.
So the crucial point is captured beautifully in this idea. Exercise is good stress on the body, but sleep is when that stress actually gets converted into fitness. You see, they are multipliers, not substitutes. Train hard on too little sleep, and you're essentially just giving yourself all the fatigue and muscle damage without reaping any of the biological reward.
This brings us to our final part, Section 4, reclaiming your rest, returning to natural rhythms. So how do we get back to those natural rhythms? First and foremost, please do not outsource your sleep to a pill or a drink. It is so tempting to use alcohol or sedatives to wind down after a long day. And sure, they will knock you unconscious, but being unconscious is definitely not the same thing as sleeping. These substances actually suppress the deep and REM stages of sleep, which is where the real repair work happens. You might be in bed for 8 hours, but you certainly won't wake up feeling rested.
Next, you have to respect your biology. We are not all built the exact same way.
We broadly fall into 3 biological chronotypes: early rising larks, night owls, and intermediate types right in the middle. This is hardwired biology, not just a matter of discipline. Constantly fighting your true nature, like trying to force a natural night owl into a rigid 5 a.m. routine, just creates a chronic sleep debt. You've got to identify your natural pattern and build your schedule around it.
Now, what about naps? Naps can be absolutely wonderful, but there are strict rules. A good nap is short, just 20 to 30 minutes in the early afternoon. This restores your alertness and actually offers cardiovascular benefits. A bad nap, however, is too long or taken too late in the day. It pushes you into deep sleep, leaves you waking up feeling like a groggy zombie, and it will absolutely ruin your ability to fall asleep that night.
Let's see how this all builds into a reliable evening routine to give your brain a proper runway to land. Step 1. Turn those screens off at least an hour before bed. Remember, the blue light from your phone is the absolute enemy of melatonin. Step 2. Use practices like pranayama, yogic breathing, or gentle stretching to actively downshift your nervous system. And step 3. Consistency. Your body's internal clock rewards a regular, predictable schedule far more than a single perfect early bedtime once a week.
You know, diet and exercise get all the attention because they're so visible. You can track your miles on an app or see the healthy food right on your plate. Sleep is invisible, which is exactly why it's the very first thing we sacrifice. But it is the foundation of absolutely everything. So I leave you with this thought. If sleep is the invisible foundation that makes every single other health habit actually pay off, how will you protect your 7 to 8 hours tonight? It's time we stop sacrificing our rest and reclaim the profound, quiet wisdom of our grandparents. Thank you so much for joining me in this explainer. Have a wonderful and deeply restful day.